Okay, so I don't normally do these kind of videos, but I'm going to do a little how-to video. And I apologize that it's going to be nighttime and I'll have to use some flashlights, but we have a 5-month-old baby and the wife and I both work, and so evening we're both home is the only time I can really do this stuff. But I thought this might help some of you. So we have a 2015 Jeep Renegade Trailhawk, 4-wheel drive, of course, with the Trailhawk. I've had it for 5 or 6 years and I absolutely love the car. It's got a lot of quirks. It's not the most dependable vehicle. It's had some issues, but as far as if you want to combine fuel efficiency, if you drive a lot, which I have to drive a lot for my work and my hobby, with off-road capability. I mean, it's not going to do what a CJ or a Wrangler could do all decked out, but this thing will do anything you could do in your pickup truck, or a normal person just going out hunting or fishing or that type of thing would ever want to do. Handles it great, does really well in snow and ice, has good cargo room for a small vehicle. It's very comfortable. It's got all the little creature comforts and things. This one has, I think, everything Jeep offered. And it was an affordable car that gets about 27 miles to the gallon. So it's been a really good car, but it has definitely had some quirks and issues over the years. And we fixed a lot of those, and I just kind of deal with it. It's not too expensive to work on, so that's good. One of the things that's come up recently, I've been looking online and I see a lot of people have been dealing with it, and I think it's a fairly easy fix, so I'm going to show you how to do it. So let me kind of take you inside and show you. So when I start this car, you're going to see service engine light comes on, and we've got the service engine indicator here. Ignore that license plate out thing. It's actually not. That's another quirk of the vehicle, but one that doesn't really need fixing. What is wrong, though, is you see here, put this camera down in here to show you. It shows the air temperature is currently 169 degrees right here. And you can see the same thing on the radio. It's a little blurry, but it's 169 degrees. So what has happened is the ambient air temperature sensor has gone out. This happened a couple weeks ago. Wouldn't be a big deal. Probably something I wouldn't even worry about fixing. It is nice to have when I'm driving in the mountains and it's raining or something, and I want to kind of watch whether we're getting close to freezing, so I know whether to expect the roads to be frozen. But the real problem here is this vehicle has climate control just like your house. So you set the temperature and it maintains it just like your thermostat at home. So when it thinks it's 169 degrees, that's not going to work, right? So the only way the climate control in this car is working right now is if I turn it all the way to max heat, it'll come on, or max AC, it'll come on. So it burns you up real quick and then you got to turn it off. Freezes you out real quick, then you got to turn it off. So not ideal. Again, I could probably deal with that, but there's two other problems. This is a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and I do need and use my 4-wheel drive, and it will not turn on at the moment because that service engine light is on. Why the ambient air temperature sensor being out makes the service engine light come on, I have no idea. I understand why you wouldn't want 4-wheel drive to work when the service engine light's on if it was low oil pressure or something. But it's not. This is something that doesn't really affect that at all, but it makes the light come on, and as a safety feature, no 4-wheel drive when the light is on. Also, no remote start and a couple other things. So I need to fix it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the sensor for the outside air temperature in this vehicle is actually right here. It's going to be in this, it's inside this mirror in this little plastic bulb here. So it's inside the passenger side mirror. That makes sense. You can't have it in the engine compartment because the heat of the engine would obviously throw off the temperature reading. There's other places that you wouldn't want it in direct sunlight. So when they put it here, they got it inside this plastic casing. It's out of direct sunlight. It's not in the engine compartment. And that's all fine and dandy, but when you go to get it replaced at the dealership, it's a little over $500 from Jeep, which is the quote I got this week. $350 to replace this mirror, for the mirror, just the mirror, and then another $150 for labor. So a little research showed me that the only thing that actually controls or monitors the temperature in there is one of these little thermistors. It's a O2 N103-2 thermistor. There's 5 of them in here. I got a 5-pack for $10 with free shipping from Amazon. I only need one. But inside this mirror, there should be a couple wires going to one of those thermistors down here on that bulb. And the way that works is a thermistor is just like a resistor. So there's going to be current coming in one side through that little bulb on the end and then out the other side. The difference between it and a resistor is that little bulb is temperature sensitive. So as the temperature goes up or down, the resistance in the bulb goes up or down as well. So the amount of current going back to the computer increases or decreases with the temperature. And so the computer measures that increase or decrease, and it knows to within a ½ degree Celsius, pretty accurate, what the outside temperature is. So kind of a pretty cool thing. It's just that Jeep doesn't have a way without cutting wires and tearing stuff apart to replace that in here. So they try and sell you the whole mirror, versus I paid $2 each for these. I think you could actually probably get individual ones for about 25 cents, but it was easy to get them on Amazon. So we're going to put it in, see if it works. One important thing I forgot to mention a minute ago is this is the door loom, the wiring harness going to the door that would run all the electrics in the mirror and door locks, etc. So we are going to check that connection and clean it with some connector cleaner, just because obviously if some moisture gotten in there, some grit or something, that would interfere with the current and increase the resistance, and that could be causing our problem. That would be a really easy fix if so. I'm going to check it. I doubt that's the case, just because I would never be that lucky, but we'll eliminate that first. And I'll just unhook the loom, take it off, clean the connections, and put it back. I cleaned the connector, and just like I thought, it was pristine in there, and it didn't make any difference, so no surprise. Now what we have to do is remove this plastic cover here to get inside to where the wires are on the mirror. And to do that, all I had to do is push on the mirror here to expose this gap on this side. And if you look in here, I can show you, there's a clip there, another clip up top, line up, yep, right there. So I'm going to go in with a screwdriver and push those in a little bit, and that should pop this side of the mirror off so that I can wiggle it off the rest of the way. Can't do that on video because I need all my hands, but we'll get back to you afterwards. I got the outer piece off. Let me show you that. It's right here. And you can see the 3 clips that you had to push out here, here, and here. This other one was right on top up here. And you do that by turning the mirror and gently pulling those in this way. The temptation is to use the mirror for leverage. Don't do that. If you do that, you'll break the mirror and then you'll have to buy one. And also it would be really easy to break these plastic parts. So just go slow and gentle, or otherwise you'll be spending the money for the new mirror. And then I think we're going to be able to take off this bottom part. We've already pushed down this clip. See, that's loose. There's another one here. And these are going to be our wires to the thermistor, which is right down here, that we need to replace. Okay, yeah, so I loosened this clip and this clip, and that allowed this bottom piece to pop out. It won't come all the way off because it goes around the mirror here, but that's all you really need. And here is the housing for the thermistor. And if I just push on the bottom, boom, that pulls up. And this is our problem piece. So located inside here under that resin is the old thermistor that's not working anymore. So I'm going to cut these wires, And I'll try and see if I can clean that resin out and put it right back in the same housing. Depends on what kind of resin it is, we'll see. It would be cool if I could do that. If not, I'll just hook it to the wires and stick it on top of it. Shouldn't matter. So we pop that out with no problem. This is just resin. I'm about to cut these wires right here at the base. Here's the piece the thermistor went in. And I popped the old one encased in resin out. So I'm just going to put the new one right back down in there. Probably fill it with hot glue or something similar. And it'll basically be a correct factory repair. Back at it. All I did was trim those wires. Cut those wires and then strip a little bit off the end and wrap on this new thermistor. And by the way, if I'm saying thermistor wrong, I'm not an electrician guy. I've only read it online. I assume that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, not important. I put a little tape on it to hold it on. So before we put this all back together and use hot glue or whatever and call it done, we're going to test it and see if that fixed it. As long as I have good connections here and this is the right piece that I've ordered and I've diagnosed it correctly, then we should have the correct temperature right now. So let's see. Correct temperature is Weather Channel app. 51 degrees. So I don't care if we're perfect as long as we're somewhere near that and not 170 degrees. So let's see. Very hopeful, but also all right. So I'm looking at, 46 degrees, which that Weather Channel app's not necessarily at my house. It tends to be a little bit cooler at my house than what that says. So that is good for me. I feel like I've fixed that. Check engine light, of course, is still on, but we'll have to clear that code after we get this all put back together. But I think we've solved the problem. So now we just have to put it back together correctly, and we should be good to go. Now that I know it works, what I'm going to do is obviously take this tape off and I'm going to solder those wires to the thermistor so we have a good soldered connection. And then I'm going to push this bulb down in that hole here, assuming it fits. Close enough. And then I'll probably fill this with hot glue. They had resin, I don't have that. And we'll put it all back in place. And it should be good as new. I soldered the thermistor in there. Pardon my pretty terrible solder job, but that should be good enough that I can take the original housing, put it down in there, fill it with hot glue instead of resin this time, pop it right back in. We should be good. If I didn't screw up the thermistor with the soldering iron, which I might have. So I'm going to test it first. And if it works, we should be good to go. So I put everything back together. I popped our new soldered on thermistor, if I'm saying that right, back into the housing, and I filled the back with resin, with hot glue, since I didn't have resin like they did, but that should work just fine. If I need to do it again, that'll pull right off, no problem. So I'm going to put it back in here. There it goes. And after that, I'll just pop everything back together and I'll show you the end result. Okay, reassembled the mirror. I'll show you here. So, and again, sorry, I wish I could have done this during daylight, but everything looks as normal as always. There is our little temperature sensor, just factory like it came. I filled it with hot glue and put it back in there. Really no different than it was. I disconnected the battery terminal, the negative terminal, for about 10 minutes while I put up all my tools. So hopefully that reset the engine error code. And now the moment of truth. did our less than $10 fix save us $500 from the dealership. So we got to turn it on and see. Car starts, that's good. Currently it says 48 degrees, which is probably about right. Oh, the air conditioner's working correctly. That's hasn't happened in a while. I got no engine code light coming on. I did have to, like I said, I did have to disconnect the negative to reset it, but it's not throwing it back on. But it's working. I got the right temperature. It's not throwing codes. Well, let's see if four-wheel drive works. Boom. Four-wheel drive is on. Put it in gear and see if I can do four-wheel drive low. That works as well. So, yep. See on my dash here. Four-wheel drive low is on. 48 degrees. Remote start should be working again. The air conditioner is working correctly. So, for less than $10, we fixed what would have been over $500 at the dealership. And since I had to order a 5-pack on Amazon of those thermistors, I still got 4 more, so I can fix this 4 more times if it goes out again. Hopefully that's helpful to you if you have the same problem. And I appreciate you watching.